this. Woo! Good scooter on the phone, you bird brain.
What do you do, backflips? You jump up there in a silly suit? What do you do?
You go BAM! I want you
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Well, I was going to say it's 3 o'clock and time to rock, but it's like 3:12. Fast Freddie here, ready to rock the house. Viking Jim, first one in this afternoon, already busting on me. I have a feeling Vike will end up stopping down at some point here today. I just have that feeling. Already busting on me, and see how it goes. And I have a legitimate reason for, why we're starting a little late here today, because I have absolutely nothing. I have absolutely nothing today. So that's why I was saying a prayer and just,
Is that what you were doing out in the parking lot?
I was sitting in the parking lot saying a prayer and drinking a shot of Jack, just coming in hoping that somehow, some way, we will be able to pull off some kind of a show here this afternoon. We'll definitely make it happen here. Tom French checking in. How you doing, Faye Somo? Good to hear from you. My buddy Ron Sapp is checking in today. Boy, what a nice day, man. The weather is just absolutely fantastic. And I can't even use the excuse I was out riding my motorcycle, because I wasn't, I wish I could.
You should have been.
Pulled it right up here and even pulled it in the studio. Oh, that would be crazy, huh? Yeah. Maybe I could start doing some burnouts right here in the lobby here of the beautiful Commerce Building in downtown Youngstown.
You'd be the most badass guy in the building.
Hey, don't say that too loud, because I have people that will be here if you say that and just come down here to show that they can do it too. That would start. Could you see though if we did a burnout and we just filled this whole building with rubber?
We could do it one time, and then I'd be evicted, and then we'd be out there.
Yes, exactly. It would be cool for that one time, man.
One time would be awesome.
Hey, James Anthony, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Pamela Miller checking in. How you doing, Pam? I hope everything's going okay with you. Yeah, man. Chris is saying perfect day for a ride again. I know.
Is your bike put away for the winter?
No, not yet.
It's still
I was out yesterday. I'll probably be out tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But it all depends, though. There might be some fishing weather in there, too. It all depends on what my son wants to do. He hasn't put the boat away quite yet. So we'll see what happens. There's definitely still some fishing and some motorcycle riding in my future here. So
yeah, a lot of people at the top down today taking advantage of it. Maybe the last time. So.
Like I told you when I came in, I was a little bummed out because we should have did the show from downtown Youngstown. We were been talking about doing it, and then the weather changed on us, and then it was kind of like, okay, that thought was out of my mind.
Same here. I didn't even look ahead in the weather because me
either. I thought we were done for the outdoor things, and we had this beautiful weather, and I'm driving down Federal Street, and there's people sitting out in front of O'Donnell's, there's people sitting out in front of V2, and all these people walking around, and I was thinking, damn, this should have been our Man on the Street show, because we could have asked everybody about the election, and it would have been off the charts. So now I'm a little bit bummed out here, but I honestly, I thought we were completely done with the nice weather. I was thinking, I'm booking more guests and getting people lined up to come on the show, and I wasn't even thinking about one more outdoor show. Maybe Tuesday. Let's not count out Tuesday.
Let me look at that weather and see. It might be. Yeah.
Let's see what the weather's going to look like on Tuesday.
And I'll tell you, I'd like to get this set up too, that if we decided on a whim to just switch over to the mobile cam and just head out, that we could do it. So I'm going to work on that part.
Yeah. When I came down there, Tuesday would be good. If the weather's going to look good
74 degrees, no rain.
All right.
Game on.
We should do it right down in O'Donnell's or one of those places downtown, V Square. All the patios were open. There was a ton of people. And I just wanted to do Man on the Street election from downtown Youngstown.
I'll get it squared away. I'll get a table reserved for us down there. We'll sit right where V2 is and we'll roam.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, no, that will be perfect.
Sweet.
That will be perfect. So we'll head down there for that on Tuesday. But yeah, okay, good. We have
all
one
right.
more
So
day.
now the tattoo girl. What day do you want me to bring her in for her official photography session with Fast Freddie?
Okay, we should probably move that to Thursday. We're going to be outside. So, anyways, what we did, in case if you're just joining us or you didn't know what we did on the couple of weeks ago, we were looking at all these different ads on Craigslist for Youngstown, and you had these people on there looking for women to do porno videos and feet fetish videos. videos, and we wondered, okay, do people really respond to these ads? And we were trying to get in touch with some of the people that posted those ads, although they probably think we're the police or 60 Minutes or something, so they didn't really respond to us. But we did have one woman that will come down and let us take pictures of her tattoos for $25. So that should be pretty good. You got a second one now too. So this session will include 2 beautiful tattooed women. So let me show the picture of the second one. She just sent it here. No face shots, but she gives you what her tattoos look like. That's her arms and legs there. There we go. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Justin said you got the wrong banner on here for me. Oh, look at her. Oh, yeah, we got the sports show banner on there. Okay. Thanks, Justin. Oh, that's the Moray show. Hey, we should just make it whatever show we wanted. We should just make it whatever show we wanted. We knew where this show was going. I don't know if I even wanted to take credit for the show today. The way this thing is going today, the way my day has been going, I didn't even know if that should be the way we go. Jim Davidson checking in. My cousin Roy checking in. He says Columbus is boring. Nothing like that going on. Yeah, people in downtown, man. Downtown Youngstown's jamming this afternoon. And I can't wait because everybody, we've said this a million times. This show isn't about politics. We don't do anything about politics. This is music and beautiful tattooed women. Oh, she's cute too. I can't wait to get her on. Yeah. And we'll take some pictures. What she got there? Marilyn Monroe, some stars. Half skull, so she's got some tood. Right, attitude. Right. Oh, that should be pretty cool. We'll get these tattoo girls down there. Now, she doesn't want her face shown, so I don't know. No, the second picture she sent. Oh, okay. Was her face. Yeah, the cute redhead. Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Hey, we might be onto something. Should we have them on both on the same day if we can? Might, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it depends on your photography skills. So I don't know how long it's going to take you to get through that session. Right, right. Totally up to you, man. You tell me when. Do we bring in a guest photographer? Could. I'm sure there would be really hard to get a photographer to volunteer to come and take pictures of beautiful women, right? Right. Tattoo-clad beautiful women. I think this is going to be pretty crazy. This is going to be pretty crazy. Patty Davis checking in from Michigan, or we should say that land up north. Yeah. Right. And she says, things are hopping in Michigan today. Okay. Things are hopping in Michigan. Things are a little slow in Columbus. Oh, man. And everybody's getting ready to ride this weekend. The weather's going to be perfect. The only thing this time of year, you really got to watch out for the deer, especially around sunset. This time of year, they are on the run, and you have to watch for them. But anyways, getting back to the politics thing here, this election is kind of crazy. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy election. The whole campaign has been crazy. And I think what happened, and this is just my opinion, in my opinion, I'm distracting you, aren't I? Yeah, because I'm looking at the tattoo girl. I'm focusing on the tattoo girl. That's all I'm thinking about right now. And this is where I should be thinking about. I don't want to think about Trump. I don't want to think about Biden. But it's such big news that you at least have to bring it up, or it's like you're living in a bubble. And I'm not going to be on it too long. But I think what happened, I think Trump did himself in. I really do. I think that his ego was so big. If he would have just focused on his record and talked about, cracking down on trade with China, which he did, and how well people's 401ks were doing before the pandemic hit. And I think if he would have just focused on the business at hand and focused on the things that he did right, but I really think a lot of his tweeting and that kind of stuff caught up with him. I think his base loved it. And, everybody liked that machismo. Yeah, tell him Trump. But I think there was an equal amount of people out there that just thought that, this isn't how the president should act. Should the president really worry about what they're doing on Saturday Night Live? Should he be calling LeBron James the dumbest man in America? I think a lot of his tweeting caught up to him. And I also think that maybe some of his more zealous supporters getting on social media and calling people names and that sort of thing, I think that turns some people off.
Agree.
I think his own ego did him in, kind of like with Trafficant. You know, with Trafficant, he could have probably had a very minor, got off the hook or had a very minor sentence, slap on the wrist, but he wanted to defend himself with his ego, and he thought he could beat them, and he wound up in jail for 7 years. And it was his ego that I think finally got him in the end. And I think that's what kind of got Trump. I think if he would have just kept his mouth shut on some of those things and focused on what he was doing right. I mean, I loved when they shot that guy, that one general from Iran, when they shot him on that, in the air base in Iraq. I think that sent a strong message. And I think that sent a message to a lot of people like, man, we mess with this guy, he's going to blast us.
Right.
And I think, you know, when he dealt with, you know, who he called Little Rocket Man, you know, at least he did something. Serious. But now it's going to be interesting to see who's going to try us now. Okay, we got a new guy. Let's see if we can push him around or whatever. But I think with Trump, when he was in there, and he still might be, who knows when it's all said and done, but I think that people were, they were a little shaky. They didn't know what to expect from this guy. And even on some of these things that if the United States was getting, you know, paying too much money on certain agreements that we had with different countries, I mean, he had the balls to tell people, hey, look, we're not going to pay him on that anymore. We're not throwing money into this. We're not throwing money into that. I think he had a lot of good points, but I think for the general public, there was a lot of people out there that just did not like his attitude. To me, it's like, say you're a woman and you're dating this guy, and he's handsome, and he's good in bed, and he's got a great job, and he's got an awesome house, and he's got a ton of money and a cool car, and he'll take you on vacation everywhere. But the guy's a dick and you can't stand being with him. Or like a woman the same way. Maybe you got this woman that's super hot and good in bed, but there's that one thing. It's just like
deal breaker.
I don't like them. And I think, anyways, that's what I think. And I don't think, you know, Biden, I think they really let him off the hook with that stuff with his son. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's a big issue. Yep. I think he's too close to the Chinese and the Ukrainians and this energy deal and stuff like that. I mean, look at this guy's making all this money. Trafficking did 7 years in jail for way less. So that concerns me too. So I don't know where things are going.
Yeah. Well, you know, Trump's strategy was good because the last time around he would say something off the wall and everybody would give him the news cycle and just pay attention to him and all the time on. He didn't get that attention this time around. He was still saying the oddball stuff, but they weren't giving him all the energy that went behind it. And I think what you said is completely right. It went downhill from there. And
I think the social media, the fighting on the social media, you know, and not to say the left, the right, you know, I just think that he has this boisterous, macho fan base, which, hey, I have no problem with that personally, you know. And I know a ton of people like, man, he called Rosie O'Donnell a pig. Way to go. You know, and some of the things that he would say would get people fired up that love him. But then he maybe instead of him talking that shit, maybe he should have been on there continuing to talk about the issues that really mattered and how good he was doing. Yeah, I don't think he has it in him. I think no matter where you put him, he's that guy. No matter what, he got it. He can't keep his mouth shut. That's it. Yeah, he's got a mouth off, and that's the way it goes. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where this heads, though, because I'm not sold on Joe Biden, and I'm a little worried what would happen if Harris became president. Yeah. Who the heck knows? So a crazy election, but you know, this is the United States of America, and we will prevail every time. And something else in 4 years from now, if we get screwed up, and you still have the Senate and everything else and the Congress. And so it's not just people going out there, but you know, I thought he should have just stayed on course with what he was doing right and what was working instead of, you know, he likes that. I think Vince McMahon from the WWE might have had something to do with his, because, well, he was in the WWE with Vince a lot, you know, and I think he liked to get them people chanting and I think some people didn't like the way that he handled like the Proud Boys and people like that. So well, we'll see what happens.
That's it. And you're right. I mean, we'll weather it. We'll get by it. We'll be better no matter who's in that office.
Right, exactly. We'll pan it out. But I think he should have just really focused more on his accomplishments and where he was heading and stayed focused on that instead of worrying about all this stupid stuff. And that just goes to show you what I said on our last show is that we're going to find out. Does he have that really, really, really big, super mega fan base? Or is it the people that are his fans are just loud and boisterous and out there and in your face? So,
so I mean, we'll reserve this for Tuesday, asking man on the street.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on.
One question about that before we do move on.
Okay.
Now, I'm super interested in sort of like uniting people. So I think our focus should be like, now that our teams are split and it's all decided and whatever, how do we get along again?
Right. That's really where we have to go. And I think everybody, I think there's no question that we are so divided right now. This country has never, ever been so divided. And there are people out there that thought Trump was throwing fuel on the fire on that divide instead of trying to unite people, even when I don't know. Like I say, this ain't my forte, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there, and because it's just on your mind 24/7. So
yeah, I checked out a little bit on it. I'm done paying attention to it for a little while. I'll go, I don't know, outside and enjoy the weather.
Yeah. On a nice day like this, you should be worried about. Hey, we got tattooed women we got to take pictures of.
Exactly.
That's what we got going on. Exactly. I don't have time to worry about Trump. I don't have time to worry about Biden. I hadn't worried about him the whole election, but it came to the climax. It came to a head, and I think at that point, everybody just had to say,
redheads or brunettes. Redheads
That's
or brunettes.
the only thing that we're worried about right now. Exactly. And, where you have these tattoos strategically placed. All right, Viking Jim says, well, it's nice of me to finally show up, eh? Yeah, okay, right, Vike. Whatever you say.
Ballbuster.
Maria checking in today. Mary, I guess she's got some sad news. Sorry to hear that. Anita checking in. And my buddy Bob over on the south side. Jim Davidson up in Cleveland. Jim Davidson, man, this guy is like, a radio engineer and stuff. And he's got so much memorabilia. Jim, we still got to get this thing hooked up with Norman Knight, too. Norman Knight, famous DJ, one of the founders of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's the guy that inducted Ellen Freed into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he's got a whole series of books out about rock music and everything. This guy's a walking encyclopedia, and he's still on, Sirius XM and some of these other stations.
Is that your Zoom call, the one from?
No, that's something else here. And those guys are having a little trouble figuring out the Zoom. Joe Shelby checking in. Billy Bart checking in. And Melanie checking in as well this afternoon. A lot of people checking in. We appreciate it. Speaking of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony is going to be held this weekend, this Saturday. And the inductees this year, these are the people that are getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Depeche Mode, the Doobie Brothers, Whitney Houston. Now, come on. Whitney Houston.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Really? Huh? Whitney Houston. 9 Inch Nails, featuring Trent Reznor. Now, 9 Inch Nails has an original sound, and they're pretty deep, and I could see why they're in. They're very influential. But what's really crazy is Trent Reznor was born in Mercer, Pennsylvania, right down the street. And I still say we got to get together with some people from Mercer to do something like the equivalent of Dave Grohl Alley, something artsy for Trent Reznor.
That'd be awesome.
Now, if you look on the internet, you'll find pictures of like Trent Reznor in the Mercer High School marching band. I mean, here's this guy that's got this, dark music. He lived in the Manson murder house and things like that. And you see him in his band uniform from Mercer High School. But he was in plays in Mercer High School, and he was in the marching band. And you knew that guy, Mercer, Pennsylvania, just wasn't the place for him. Obviously. And then he played in different bands around Youngstown over the years. I mean, he played the bars in Youngstown. A lot of people don't realize that. He bought one of his first synthesizers right here in downtown Youngstown when New York Music used to be downtown. And I remember one time I saw him in Erie, and he gets up on stage and he goes, a lot of people ask me where all this anger and angst comes from in my music. He goes, you know where it comes from? From growing up in Mercer, Pennsylvania. And this was in Erie, and everybody just went nuts. But I could see why Trent Reznor's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Influential, and he's got a unique style. I think that's one of the things that if you really want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you should have like this unique style, among other things, where people just go, oh, that's Nine Inch Nails. Oh, that's Jim Morrison. If you're just like maybe like a pop artist that, you know, like a crooner that there's, you know, everybody, not to put anybody down, but I would say like, you know, Eddie Money, Bryan Adams, people along that line that really didn't do anything earth-shattering. Yeah, I mean, they're carrying on the torch of rock and roll, and they're cool, and their music's good, and they sold a lot of records, and they made a lot of people happy. But is that really Rock and Roll Hall of Fame material?
Yeah, I mean, it would be easy to create a pop Hall of Fame, honestly, and then, you know, have something dedicated to that genre.
Now, here comes a good one. Now, this is why some people get upset at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not just Whitney Houston. Some people are like, Depeche Mode. But, I mean, some of those 80s bands, they were groundbreaking in their own way, too. You know, they were groundbreaking in their own way. But here's the one, the Notorious B.I.G.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, now, some people see that and they're like, come on. You're stretching it a little bit.
Well, there are guys that are legit, you know, rock and rollers that are waiting to get in there, and then that ahead of them. That's, that's what's not
there
right.
are so many people on that list. You got Warren Zevon, you got the Moody Blues, maybe Jethro Tull. So they brought something unique.
Right.
And I also think that some of the Southern rockers should be in there because of the influence they had on bringing rock, you know, bringing country to a more pop, rocky sound and image and everything. And I think if you look at guys like Waylon Jennings, I think Waylon Jennings should be in there hands down. He was one of Buddy Holly's Crickets. And when you see he was part of the country outlaw movement, and that had a big impact on country, and then he was recording songs by people like Waylon Jennings, and he had more of a rock sound and a look. And I think that he would be a guy that should be in there. I think Willie Nelson should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you follow the same logic that they follow, if you go back to the R&B and Motown, I think Motown's rock and roll.
I agree.
And I think all that stuff. I think, you know, when you look at some of the blues artists and when you know the history of rock and roll and you see how it all got melded together, I think Charlie Daniels should be in there. I think, you know, some of the guys like that. But I think they're not in because of the Southern. I think some of the decision makers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are more like, I would say, liberal, you know, New York City types. Right. You know, if you get, you know, that you kind of get the idea of, you know, the Hollywood type, the East Coast, West Coast type movers and shakers type. And I think they look at some of that Southern rock as hillbilly, redneck, racist, Confederate flag, and then they just kind of push them away. But, you know, if I understand when you follow even to rap today, that, okay, it goes back to the R&B sound, it goes back to the blues and how it evolved. But I think at some point it gets to where it reaches that branch in the tree where it's just like so far off that it's like, okay, that's not really.
They now, stretched Prince, in one direction without stretching in the other direction.
Now, Prince, I could see how it got in. Right. You know, I understand Prince.
That's for sure.
And there's some other people in there that I could see why they get in. And I understand, you know, the progression, the history of music, the evolution of music. But I mean, come on, Notorious B.I.G. I think rap and hip hop is pretty much an element all their own.
Right.
I think it's an element all their own. It's not rock and roll. I think but obviously I'm not the one that makes the decision. And then the other person, the other band being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this time around is T-Rex. Now, T-Rex is another one, though. I could see where they get in because Mark Bolan was so unique and so original in his costumes and his sound, and he had that whole glam thing going. So he really made an impact on a lot of people. And I think that's another thing that's important when you're looking for people to put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is you know, the impact that they had on other people, the influence that they had on other people. That's why some people bitch about Kiss being in there. But Kiss influenced so many rockers, even people to pick up a guitar because some of their songs were so easy. And, you know, then they brought the theatrics with the makeup and the pyro and even the merchandising, which is still a big part of the music business, whether you want to admit it or not. Right. And so Kiss was influential on a lot of people. And I'm sure, you know, when you see interviews with a lot of rock stars, you know, let's say the first song I learned was, you know, Black Diamond or Rock and Roll All Night, and just some of those easy 3-chord songs, but they were loud and they were rowdy and the band was spitting blood. And these guys watched that like some people from an older generation watched the Beatles, and these guys watched that and said, damn, yeah, oh, that's what I want, man, spitting blood and the guy with the tongue, and the songs were rocking. And
it was a little rebellious, and Grandma
right,
hated it, you know?
Right. Knights in Service to Satan.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that movie Detroit Rock City, that's the best, where the kids from Cleveland were trying to go to the rock concert, and the kid's mom was like this diehard religious zealot, and that was really a pretty good movie. Yeah, hip hop has its own Hall of Fame. No kidding. All right. Hey, Jerry Mack checking in. How you doing, Jerry? Good to hear from you this afternoon. But so those are some of the things that I see should be a criteria for being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there are some people in there that some people think, oh, they have no business, but I get it.
Right.
I get it. I maybe they were the first band that had influence on new wave, or maybe, you know, they were in on this movement or that movement, or they were on the forefront of this or the forefront of that sound. And that I could see how all that goes. But, you know, when you put in Whitney Houston, there's no way in the world that Whitney Houston should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
She's never picked up an instrument, and her band, there isn't a band for Whitney Houston.
Right. No, she has no business being in there. And that, I think, sometimes pisses people off, and then sours them on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, and
if you want to pay honor to someone, that's a different story. Like, I mean, it's connected to music. If you want to honor her, but the induction is not the way to do it.
No. And there's so many bands that should be in there. I don't think the Moody Blues are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think ELO is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm just trying to think of people with unique sounds off the top of my head. Warren Zevon is always one that comes to mind. Everybody loved Warren Zevon, and he was so original and so creative. And, you know, creativity, originality, I think that's something that should get you into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Agreed.
When you look at how they let people into the Baseball Hall of Fame, I mean, there are people on the cusp of, and they split hairs so much that it's like, oh, okay, should, you know, I saw somebody arguing the other day if like Fred McGriff should be in the Rock and Roll Baseball Hall of Fame. And, you know, what people were bitching and moaning about was just like, really almost splitting hairs, like, well, here's why he can't be in, because these 3 guys ahead of him in this one stat. And I think maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be the same way.
Yeah,
but,
or it would be like them letting Wayne Gretzky into the Baseball Hall of Fame, honestly. That's the version of, you know, anyway.
Oh, okay. Jim Davidson says ELO and Moody Blues are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. I got to look up that list. I can't remember all of them. And every time when they announce the inductees at the beginning of the year, and then when they do the induction ceremonies, they always publish a list. I can't keep track anymore.
Yep. And
like I say, my phone is smarter than me, so that's how I have to check that out. Denny Roth checking in. How you doing, Denny? My man Denny from the South Side. Denny works down at the Covelli Center. I hope those guys get back to work soon.
Right.
Although, how about the coronavirus?
Have you seen the numbers these last couple of days? It's off the charts.
I know. And so what's going to happen here?
I didn't get to hear DeWine today, but I heard lots of rumblings about some lockdowns and some, you know, ramping it up. I don't want to hear that at all.
Me either. That's the last thing I want to hear, but it's amazing. That's another issue too that I just completely stay away from.
Yep.
I don't even want to go down that road. It's just too.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
You know, that we were talking earlier in the show about, you know, the division in America. That's another thing that's dividing people. That's another thing that really has people truly divided. And is it really that bad though? I don't know. You know, I do know people that have died from it. So, but then were they in bad health? That's the thing that a lot of people. Let's not even go there.
All right,
let's not
You're
even
gonna
go there.
Us out again,
No. This show is not about that at all. This show.
There are 100 other shows that are doing that topic right now.
No. Yes, listen. If I got a little too far off on the politics, and I'm not going to venture into Corona, we'll stick with rock and roll. Tattooed redheads, tattooed women. That's where we're at. Tattooed women. You know what the problem is? I haven't even had a sip of alcohol yet.
Get it going, man. Get it going.
Everybody, we'll take a quick.
And if you want to call and talk to Freddie, the phone number 330-595-1600, and you can bring your topics to the program, interact with Freddie here.
Yeah, like Jim Davidson, he brings up a good point. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame committee is in New York, and the building in Cleveland is just to house the memorabilia. But I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I love going there. I love looking at those exhibits. I think they got some of the coolest stuff around in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I've never been there.
What?
Never been there.
Why don't you see if we could do the show from there one day?
Totally.
I bet Jim Davidson can help hook us up too, because Jim's got all kind of pull up there. Boy, that would be cool if we could do the show from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Totally do it.
Why don't we do that?
All right.
That would be awesome, because they have so much cool stuff up there. The Jimi Hendrix stuff that they have. Jimi Hendrix's family must have saved everything that he ever did in his life. Or they have some little third grader drawing a picture of, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Churning him out.
You know, the Beatles, the stuff they have there. Jim Morrison's Boy Scout uniform is always one of my favorites. Handwritten lyrics. I love all that stuff. Yeah, Jim is their engineer up there.
Oh, no kidding.
And, you know, he does the engineering for all the Sirius shows that originate from there. And, Jim, we're probably going to have to get something going. That would be really cool to do it up there. Since you've never been there.
Never.
You get in that big bus of yours, that big-ass bus, you travel all over America, and you've never been to Cleveland?
Nope.
To the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, and I'm next door at Browns games all the time, and I'm like, man, we should go there someday.
I wonder what's in there.
Right, what is that thing?
I got to go in there. Okay, Jim's going to send us the information on who we could talk to, and that would be it. We'll do a little field trip, because I think that would just, since you've never been there.
It'd be awesome.
And like I say, all politics aside, who's in, who's not in, none of that stuff. Like when you see Mick Jagger's stage costumes or the guitar that these guys wrote this song on, and I love that stuff. I just think it's a
your
really cool
musical
place.
knowledge and your depth would be amazing to be able to point things out, because you've lived some of the stuff that I haven't. You know what I mean? It'd be neat.
You know, they have the wing of Otis Redding's plane that crashed and things like that, and then all the different interactive videos and that sort of thing that they have up there as well. But yeah, I like going there. I really do. You know, they got John Lennon's glasses that he wore when he was shot. It's just all kinds of cool stuff. Just all kinds of cool stuff, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Donnie Santarelli checking in. What's up, Donnie? How you doing this afternoon? How you doing? All right, let's go to stupid criminals in the news. Let's go right down to some of these stories here. Richland County Sheriff Deputy pulls over. Okay, what's going on here? I don't even know what's going on. Okay, I can't. Okay, what the heck? Yeah, it's one of these days. Okay, anyways, Richland County Sheriff's deputy pulls over an 11-year-old who is driving his father's van at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just wanted to go out for a ride. 11-year-old. Hey, you know what? Pull up Cleveland.com. They might have the arrest on Cleveland.com. Yeah. Richland County Sheriff pulls over 11-year-old boy at 1 o'clock in the morning. And Frank Sylvester said, somebody had to pick Dad up at the bar. Hey, I'm not drinking. It's my old man here.
All right, what am I looking for?
Richland County pulls over 11-year-old boy. I think they have the dash cam. Man fatally shot while putting air in tires at Cleveland gas station. Oh, there it is, right there. There you go. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there's the video.
All right, let me throw that up on the screen real quick.
Okay. Yeah, see, this show develops as it's going on. This is like custom made. It's happening right before your eyes, right before your ears. Oh yeah, The Wall from Pink Floyd is one of the great one of the great exhibits that they have there. Look, this 11-year-old kid.
Go and send another unit. 10-year-old in the driver's seat. All right, in the trailer park. Where are you going?
Just going around the block.
Why?
1:15 in the morning.
Where are your parents? Does he know you have a car? Okay. Did you think it was a good idea?
No. No, I didn't think it was a good idea. I don't know what made me think it was a good idea. All right, man. That's a future criminal in the news right there. He should move to Florida.
I want to know if he did a good job driving, though. I couldn't imagine.
No, that's the reason they pulled him over. Lane changes. He didn't have the headlights on, no tail lights. He got a little ways to go.
If you're going to go on a joyride, you got to do it so you don't get picked up, though. Yeah. Did you ever go on a joyride when you were a kid, though?
No, I never did anything like that. Here's another guy in Ohio. I'll tell you, we're kicking Florida man's ass here right now.
Yeah.
We got the 11-year-old kid that took off with dad's van at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we got this other guy that bit off his mother's nose in an attack. Now, obviously, these people are mentally ill. Yeah. And he beat her with a teapot. So who bites off your mom's nose and then ends up beating her with a teapot? To me, that kind of stuff is a little crazy.
So down in Florida, you think there's a host called like Slow Sammy and he points out Ohio criminals?
Maybe,
you think so?
Maybe. I still
Ohio man.
I still say we should have a shootout, man. We should have a shootout with Ohio man and
yes,
Ohio man and Florida man. Yeah, I wonder if they have stupid Ohio people in the news down in Florida. Exactly. If not, maybe I should go down there and start one.
Yep.
This was from 1975. On this date in history from the Vindicator. It says here, Struthers police head off a planned invasion of Boardman by 175 Struthers High School students, many armed with chains and clubs, who intended to retaliate for a paint raid on the Struthers bleachers. So they were going to go rumble with the people in Boardman back in 75. Wow. You know what? That used to be crazy though back in the day because everybody had their own McDonald's. You had Struthers. Where did they hang out at? Because they didn't really have a McDonald's in Struthers. Oh, they probably Burger Chef over on.
There was a Burger Chef.
Yeah, there was a Burger Chef over there in Youngstown, Poland Road, and maybe some of the Struthers people. Yeah, maybe they went up to. I'm not really sure. I think that everybody from Struthers wanted to be from Wilson anyways. Everybody knows that. So, but, you used to have like the...
He's talking smack. Somebody's going to call you up on that one.
You had the Wilson McDonald's, and it was kind of Wilson McDonald's on Midlothian. That's where we used to hang out.
Hey, and did you see over in Girard, somebody pulled a gun at the Jib Jab?
Yeah, now what's it getting to when you got to pull a gun at Jib Jab? Jib Jab's supposed to be your happy little safe place.
Right.
We don't go for that shit at Jib Jab. No. You don't mess around gunplay at Jib Jab. What's up with that?
So I don't know if you've ever gone through the drive-thru, but it is a contentious thing because they got like people pull in from the street and people pull into the parking lot and there's some people cut in that line.
And you want that wiener, man. You want that hot dog. You want that Jib Jab hot dog. And you were working all day. And usually like 5 o'clock, 5:30, I head down that way on my way home. And you're heading down that way and you see that big long line and you do see the parking lot. And now the other day it was coming back on 422 and then around the corner, but you still had people in the parking lot and you're probably sitting there going, man, I had a terrible day at work. Work sucked. All I want is a Jib Jab. I just want to pull in here and get a Jib Jab. And then now you pull up and there's a line and you're already feeling huffy. It's like, son of a bitch, there's a line to get in a Jib Jab. And now here comes somebody wants to cut you off after you've been waiting in the Jib Jab line and you're ready to go ballistic. Now that I think of it, I can see how that happens. But Jib Jab is supposed to be a happy place. Look at their mascot, little smiling hot dog with, feet and hands, and you got a smile on his face. And even though people are going to come in and eat him, he still seems like he's pretty happy about it,
Well, you brandish that firearm out the door and people give you your way, honestly.
Yeah.
It cuts 2 minutes off your wait time, no doubt.
Hey, Chris Fisher checking in up in Sandusky today. How you doing, Puddin'? Yeah, but that used to be the thing. We used to always hang out at McDonald's, and there'd be fights. Like, the Boardman McDonald's was over on 224, actually where it's still at. But it was, or was it? Well, Mooney hanged out at one. The Mooney people used to hang out at one of those McDonald's, and then because I'm trying to think of this now. Now we're going back so far in time, my mind is kind of shot.
So you think those restaurants, like after a game, they would do better business because of it, but probably putting up with those teenagers would be a pain in the ass. I don't know if they'd love it or hate it.
Well, I still think they loved it because everybody was in there spending money.
Yeah.
They were spending money. Although, what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. I'm going to go into grandpa mode here.
Okay, grandpa.
Okay. Back in my day, you could get a burger. You could get a burger and a fry and a Coke for like 50 cents at McDonald's. Like I can remember when burgers were 15, 20 cents and a Coke was a dime or whatever. The other day I stopped at McDonald's and I got a filet-o-fish sandwich. $4.35 for a filet-o-fish sandwich. $4 for a filet-o-fish. I'm thinking, back in my day,
did you say something?
Put up with that.
Give him a Riemann?
No.
Same thing happened to me at Taco Bell. I can remember getting tacos for like 40 cents.
Right.
And I go talk about like, how did I spend $30 at Taco Bell? What did I get?
How did that happen? I bought one fish sandwich. One fish sandwich, and they go $4.35. Right.
Sure you got that right?
Yeah.
I didn't want 4 of them. Jeez.
Right. They used to be a quarter. The fish sandwich used to be the most expensive thing on the menu. Oh, but that was back in the day. Everybody used to hang out at all the different McDonald's and after the games. Here's one thing that was funny. When I was working at WNIO, one of the ad agencies wanted us to be what they call mystery shoppers to help them out. So what you do is you go out to a McDonald's and you get your order and stuff. And I got paid to do this, but I felt like a narc doing it. And I never really gave anybody a bad thing. And most of the time, everything was right anyways. I don't want somebody to lose their job, but right. I was like forced to do this anyways. So I was like, okay, well, I'm in. And you would go to these different McDonald's and you would have this critique you would fill out. And then after you were done, you would have the manager have to sign it. Well, one day, it was a Friday night. It was getting close to the end of the week, and I didn't get to this place. And I go there right after a high school football game. And the place is in shambles. The people working behind the counter are just spent. They're beat. And I walk in and I look around and I order my burger or whatever you're supposed to order. And I give the manager the thing to sign. And she was like, you got to be shitting me.
Were you kind?
Yes, I was.
But good.
Yes,
good.
I was. I don't like to be a prick like that. I don't even fill those things out on, unless if I fill one out, I'm going to give you a good thing. But I'm not going to be the guy that sits there and say, you know what? I had to wait 6 minutes in line at Dunkin' Donuts and I'm pissed. There's somebody's kid working in there or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But, these people are in there. They probably don't even want to be there to begin with. But I'm never like a complainer. I don't.
But some of those people are Nazis that way. And they just want to have the Karens of the world just want you to get fired. And
I read this one thing somebody posted online. They went to some restaurant or something, some fast food place. And they went in and they got into a confrontation about the mask and all that stuff. And, they told the people off, and they got into some kind of argument with the kid working there or whatever. And all he's doing is like, hey, they told me if they come in, you tell them put a mask on. And and these people, and they finally got like a free sandwich or something because they filed a complaint. I'm sitting there going, I don't have that much time to waste in my day. You know what I mean? I really don't have that much time, and it really honestly doesn't matter that much to me.
If the mask gets me out 5 seconds sooner, I'm there.
Yes, yeah. I put it on. That's like the one Dunkin' Donuts I go to. And Dunkin', it seems like during this pandemic, all of a sudden, they have become so popular. There's one that has a drive-through line. There's usually always a drive-through line. Yep. So I go in, but I put on my mask. I'm a good little soldier. I'll be the sheep. Bah, bah. I got my mask on. Give me my coffee so I can get the hell out of here. Exactly and I'm not waiting for all these people to come around, you know? And I'm not going to sit there and because you didn't give me my straw. Although that is... probably, I bet, the thing that pisses people off the most at Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, if you order an iced coffee and they forget to give you the straw. You have to drink that out of a straw. And if you don't get a straw at Dunkin' Donuts, I'm sure that's the #1 complaint. Yep. And probably the wait in line. But it is what it is. You know, I mean, I don't. It really doesn't matter to me. Right. If I will put on my mask real quick and run in there. I'm not going to go to corporate and everything. And then, hey, they sent me a cheeseburger. But then again, if it's that $4.35 fish sandwich, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I'm missing something there.
That's quite an investment in your dinner. It better be great.
Yeah.
So what's your speaking of fast food, what is your go-to restaurant? Like you're hungry and you don't want to cook anything. What's close to you that you like eating that you could eat anytime? What do you like?
I'm going to go hotheads.
Hotheads?
Hothead burritos. I really like hotheads. I like hotheads.
And you're not an anti-Chipotle? It's just hotheads.
I've never been to Chipotle. Believe it or not. I have never been to Chipotle. Well, because when I was on the air, Hotheads was always one of our sponsors, and I always try to sponsor our sponsors. Yeah, right. You know? Hey, who fixes my computers? Youngstown Computer Service, right? But that's, that's the way I roll. But yeah, I like Hotheads, and they were a sponsor of ours for a long time. Now they got the new fish taco that I really like. I'm a big fan of fish tacos. That's what I like when I go to Florida and places like that. Fish tacos. I love those. I could eat 1 million of those.
Never had fish tacos.
Okay, now we got to go to Hotheads. Yes. Now we got to go to Hotheads.
Yes, field trip after field trip.
Now, see, maybe that's one like when maybe this winter, if I go on hiatus, I might have to do a little. Maybe we'll do the show from the road, and I'll try to find the best fish tacos in Florida, in Clearwater. The best fish tacos in Clearwater Beach, and the grouper sandwiches. That's another thing. I love grouper sandwiches. But yeah, I would say Hotheads is probably my #1. Although, I got to watch my diet, and I don't. I don't know. For somebody that watches their diet, I just put on weight looking at food. Yeah. And I'm in a constant struggle with that. I'm always just struggling with my weight. And, I got a few problems with my ticker. And I should probably be right now 20 pounds less than I am. And so I don't necessarily go to all those places. But, I like a Big Mac. I think Big Macs are good. I like a Burger King, and I'll get a cheeseburger and put onion rings on it. Or you could order it as a rodeo burger, but I think I invented the rodeo burger because I was putting my onion rings on my burgers before that. But yeah, I would say that my #1 is I like Long John Silver's.
Now, do you like any of the the Wawas or the Sheets or anything like that?
Oh, you know what? Well, probably Sheets is probably my #1.
That's #1.
I was just thinking because it's a gas station. Yeah. I think Sheets is really good. I like their little pizzas and their pepperoni rolls. Sheets has really good food, I think. Yeah, Sheets I'd have #1 on my list too. Sheets would be up there. So for anybody looking for an endorsement, Sheets, Dunkin' Donuts, Hothead Burritos. Those 3 definitely. Dunkin' Donuts, those 4. I could do a job for you. You hear me on Taylor Kia all the time, so I could do that for you.
He's auditioning.
Yeah, maybe maybe I should use this show to promote myself more like that. Do it, man. Hey, Chris Rattini is checking in. Hey, Chris, why don't you give me a call here real quick? What's the number again, Joe?
330-595-1600.
1600.
And Dan Messersmith says Fast Freddie will never act like a Karen. So that's word on the street.
Okay, yeah, no, I would never do that. But anyways, Chris got an interesting story. He's the guy we were talking about last time around, that the first time he met his dad was on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I think we're coming up pretty close to the anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So Chris, if you want to call in and share that story, give me a call. Give us a buzz here.
330-595-1600.
1600. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Cool guy. All right, here's one. This one came up in my Facebook memories 5 years ago today. Officers assisted Warren Township Police at 4 Blossom Lane, over a report of possible drug abuse. Police found a man sitting on top of his refrigerator laughing as he was taken to the hospital. Now, my question to you is, when did it become against the law to sit on your refrigerator in your own house laughing hysterically?
Yeah, why are they taking this dude away? What's up with that?
I mean, the story would have been even funnier, though, if he was naked. Now, see, if we want to compete with Florida Man for stupid criminals in the news, I think it would have helped if this guy would have been naked.
You have to. It's slathered in mayonnaise, naked on top of the refrigerator.
Ranch dressing.
Yes.
Just dumping it on his head, laughing uncontrollably.
Somebody turned him in. Somebody's a narc in his family.
Yeah, really. So that was 5 years ago. I wonder if he's around today. Maybe
now, if you're driving by and you just like out of your peripheral catch someone in their window sitting on the top of the refrigerator, do you call police on that? I mean, concerned citizen.
No, I just keep on driving. Hey, if I don't turn in the person for not giving me a stir when I leave Dunkin' Donuts,
leave the guy sitting.
Yeah, the guy that's naked sitting on his refrigerator. God bless you, brother. Well, that's because I worked with Viking Jim so many years, so it's like been there, done that.
All right,
nothing new there.
You.
Yeah, okay. Hey, what's Viking Jim doing over those people's house? I didn't know he lived in this part of town. Well, maybe he doesn't, but there he is on the refrigerator.
You've been outed, Viking Jim. Now everybody knows.
I didn't have to do too much to out Viking Jim on that. That's for sure. No, everybody knows, and he doesn't deny it. That's the thing about Vike is he's honest. He doesn't try to trick you, or if Vike was sitting naked, covered in ranch dressing, laughing hysterically on his refrigerator,
he would own up to it in a heartbeat.
It would be like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I was doing.
You'd see it on Facebook before it was on the news.
Yeah, right, exactly. He'd be talking about it on River's show. That's what makes that show so interesting, though, is because Viking Jim and Dan Rivers are just the complete, exact polar opposites.
And when you hear Viking talk about something like straight up, and deep down inside he's making a Beavis and Butthead reference or something, that's the best.
Hey, you know what? Today's the 36th anniversary of?
What's that?
One of the greatest moments in TV history. One of the greatest moments in TV history that people will always post, especially around Thanksgiving. One of the greatest moments in television history. 36 years ago today, the WKRP in Cincinnati episode, Turkeys Can Fly. That, to this day, is a classic moment in TV history when they were dropping the turkeys and Les Nessman doing that remote, and being somebody in the radio business, it was just so on. It was just so on. You could just see this thing happening because everybody in the radio business has had some kind of disastrous promotion or something that didn't go right. But
all right, fellow babies, now it's time to go to our live remote man on the scene at the Pinedale Shopping Mall for the big WKRP turkey giveaway. So, take it away, Les Nessman.
This is Les Nessman, your man on the scene here at the Pinedale Shopping Center where the excitement is mounting. We're here to witness the big WKRP turkey Thanksgiving giveaway.
Hey, you got permission to be out here?
What?
You're blocking my store here, buddy.
Don't you know who I am?
Done that.
I'm Les Nessman. I won the Buckeye News Hawk Award last year.
Good for you, Buckeye. Now get out of my doorway.
I'm sorry. Creep.
So far, so good, huh?
I'm here with hundreds of people who have gathered to witness what has been described as perhaps the greatest turkey event in Thanksgiving Day history. All we know for sure is that in a very few moments there are going to be a lot of happy people out here. Now the crowd is curious but well behaved. And I think I hear something now. The crowd is moving out into the parking area. And, oh yes, I can see it now. It's a helicopter. And it's coming this way.
A helicopter?
It's flying something behind it. I can't quite make it out. It's a large banner. And it says, Happy Thanksgiving. W K R P. What a sight. sight, ladies and gentlemen. What a sight. The copter seems to be circling the parking area now. I guess it's looking for a place to land. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object. Perhaps a skydiver plummeting to the earth from only 2,000 feet into the air. Second to the third. No parachutes yet.
Those can't be skydivers. I can't tell just yet what they are, but... Oh, my God, they're turkeys! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes! One just went through the windshield of a parked car! Johnny, this is terrible. The
Cars running around, pushing each other. Oh, my goodness! Oh, the humanity! People are running about. The turkeys are hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement. See, folks, I don't know how much longer the crowd is running for their lives. I think I'm going to step inside. I can't stay out here and watch this any longer. No, I can't go in there.
Children are searching for their mothers, and oh, not since the Hindenburg tragedy has there been anything like this. I don't know how much longer I can hold my position here, Johnny. The crowd...
Les, are you there? Les isn't there. Thanks for that on-the-spot report, Les.
As God is my judge, I thought turkeys can fly. Oh, what a funny clip. To this day, 36 years later, that is still one of the classic moments in TV history. And I can remember watching that show, too. Another one that I liked on there, Radio Promotions Gone Bad. Remember, they were going to give away like $10,000 if you could figure out this montage. And they made this montage impossible to win. And they put these crazy songs in there. And they go, okay, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to get this montage. It is so difficult. There is nobody in the world that is going to get this. And then the guy calls in and he gets the whole montage and they're on the hook for like 10 grand.
Yes.
That's too funny. That's too funny, man. So what else we got going on?
So you've probably seen every kind of like, cheesy giveaway or whatever in radio.
Yeah. I can't even remember all of them.
Some are pretty successful. Some people bid into them and it got a big stir,
Yeah. There was always something though that I can't really remember right off the top of my head one of the big ones that really went awry, where it was just like such a screw up, where there's got to be one out there but maybe those I just put in the back of my mind, like, okay, that never happened.
Yeah, there was one that flipped out all the old people in my neighborhood. And I don't remember when this was. It was a while ago. And I had a neighbor come over and say, did you listen to the radio? Somebody said that the end is coming. And there was a radio station that played, it's the end of the world, as just on loop over and over and over again. It freaked everybody out.
Yeah. Yeah, 107.9.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And that's one of the first alternative stations that came out. And hey, Gary Markowski's checking in. What's up, Gary? We got to get Gary on the show. I definitely got to get you on the show, Gary. We got to figure out a day, and he's got so many great stories. Gary such an interesting guest. He's got so many great stories about just Youngstown rock and roll and all the people that he grew up with in his neighborhood that became famous musicians and days with the Michael Stanley Band and everything. So, Gary, we got to get you on, man. I'm going to shoot me a message. Let's figure out a time here to get Gary on, because he would have he has a ton of great stories there, that's for sure. Here's another one. I'm not sure when this happened. 1975. Another one on this date in 1975. 4 teenagers were injured and 5 others arrested after 19 Youngstown police officers were dispatched to the Paramount movie theater where a large crowd became unruly. And I looked that up one time. I wondered if it was like a concert or something like that. Well, it turns out that, oh, wait a minute here. Should I continue with this? Because this will take out the rest of the show. We'll get back to this because I just saw what you pulled up. All right. This is just Florida man in the news headlines. Just Florida man in the news headlines. Florida man hears intruder, shoots and kills pregnant wife. Florida man thinks he hears intruder and fatally kills his pregnant wife. Okay, so pan down a little more. Florida man allegedly threatens to kill governor. Florida man accused of making bombs at home filled with explosive materials. Florida man pleads guilty to $1 million plot to scam elderly people. Florida man pulls gun after being told he has a small penis. Maybe that's what happened down at the Jib Jab. Okay, if somebody, if somebody questions your manhood, are you allowed to pull out a gun there? Well, at least in Florida it is. Handcuffed Florida man walks out of police headquarters. So who's at fault there? Is that Florida man or is it the policeman? Florida man stashed sawed-off shotgun after shooting friend. Florida man paid $150 for well, we talked about that. Florida man paid $150 for full contact experience, ended up mauled by leopard. Bit his face off. That was a bizarre story there. I don't think anybody in Ohio would be able to compete with that one. Florida man arrested for setting his girlfriend on fire. Florida man holds dog for $20,000 ransom. Florida man accused of setting wife on fire. Florida man catches 1,000-pound gator after it stalked him for years. It's like Moby Dick or one of those. I'm going to get that gator. Yeah. Shoot him. Is that show still on, The Swamp People, where they were hunting gators? Forever. What was that guy's name? I can't think of his name. The guy from Shoot 'em, Big Boy. Florida man invents robot to insert and remove contact lenses. Oh, that's a news story. We were talking about robots. Yeah. How about this one? We were talking about that on the last show. Here's a guy that invented a robot to insert and remove your contact lenses. Do you really need a robot to do that for you? Honestly,
I don't want robots near my eyeballs at all.
Or my private parts, either one. I don't want the robot bidet, that's for sure.
No.
The robot butt wiper. No, I'll pass on that.
Hands off the junk.
Yeah, the robot junk shaker, so you don't have to shake it after you pee. No, we'll pass on that one too. Let's see. Florida man arrested for hitting a dog with an extension cord. Florida man accused of breaking into multiple homes, eating victims' food. Florida man accused of rape and human trafficking. That's not funny.
Now, have you ever eaten someone else's food?
No.
Let me tell you this story, because there was this dude that was really high strung in our neighborhood. When they would go on vacation, when their family would go on vacation, I don't know if is statute of limitation. Yeah, statute of limitation stuff. Okay. So we'd break into his house, right? And when he was gone on vacation, right? And we would eat crap out of his food, or food out of his fridge. And he had these figures like those GI Joes, and he knew exactly what positions they were, and we'd move all of them. So when he came home, he knew we were there because his food was gone and all of his action figures were moved. I was a jerk.
Oh man. No, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Yeah. Florida man stole bulldozer, knocked down fence, and stole Biden signs. We talked about that one last week. Wouldn't you love to do that though? Just grab a bulldozer and just go berserk. That would be Haywood awesome. Banks has a song out called "If I Wish I Had a Bulldozer," and it's about a guy that just gets disgruntled and just goes down the street and just starts smashing people's houses up with a bulldozer. I wish I had a bulldozer. If I had a bulldozer. There we go. Haywood Banks, funny guy.
In this day and age, in this big old troubled world, where the little guy ain't got a chance, there's only one thing I can think of that could make a difference.
So soothing.
If I had a bulldozer, everything would be so fine. I would never have to move it over, never have to stand in line. If I had a bulldozer, there'd be lots of parking places. I just looked for that brand new Corvette. It's been taking up 2 spaces. If I had a diesel rig with a big old blade, treads just like a tank, I would have it made. Courtesy would reign, arguments would cease, 'cause everyone would know I'd squash them like a cheese. if I had a bulldozer.
Anyways, you get...
My application would go through.
Oh, my application would go through, yeah. Anyways, you get the idea. If I had a bulldozer.
Right.
Hey, remember that one guy, I think it was out in California, that built that armor-plated bulldozer, and he went nuts, and finally the cops killed him.
Yep.
He just went berserk with that thing. That would be pretty fun. I know some kids stole one time over at the Niles Stadium when they were rebuilding the stadium and did a ton of damage on that. They got caught, knocking over the concession stand. And, it's against the law, but it would be so much fun. Wouldn't that be a great giveaway? Wouldn't that be a prize that if you knew somebody was tearing down a house and you were allowed to get, whether it was an excavator, a bulldozer, and just knock it over.
Jam it. Yes, that would be a
You know how they had those stress rooms where you can go in there and just start breaking stuff and smash a TV and this, that, and the other thing? Wouldn't that be great if you could just go berserk with a bulldozer? They give you 20 minutes for $50 and we have some cars. We have some cars. We have an old farmhouse there that you could knock down. I mean, that would really relieve a lot of stress, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, didn't they have a shooting range that allowed you to blow like cars up and stuff like that?
Yeah, they had that. And in Newton, or not Newton Falls, in Mineral Ridge, they had one of those places where you just went in there and just smashed things up. Went in there and give you
but
a
that can't last because someone's gonna do something stupid and hurt themselves,
Yeah, probably as long as they don't do that with the axe tossing. Some of these places that have axe tossing.
Yes.
Alcohol and axe tossing. That's
what could go wrong.
Not a thing.
I always fear when they have dartboards in bars because some stupid idiot's gonna start tossing darts at his buddies,
That would be something. Okay, now let's get back. Okay, yeah. I don't know how we got off track here.
I don't know.
Do you sidetrack? Oh, on Florida Man.
Yes.
You sidetracked me on Florida Man. Once we started going Florida Man headlines, we could have just did the whole show from that. We should have just come out of the box and, an hour later, we would still be doing that. Okay, anyways, I had this story. 1975, 4 teenagers are injured and 5 others arrested after 19 Youngstown police officers are dispatched to the Paramount Theater where a large easy for me to say, where a large crowd had gathered. And I looked that up the one day to see what was going on there. I didn't know if it was because of a concert or whatever, because there was towards the end of the Paramount Theater, they had a few concerts down there before the place pretty much just fell apart. And it turned out, though, that they were showing some of those black exploitation films from the 70s. And I guess there was some kind of trouble down there. But I used to love those things. And I want to go over a few of them, some of my favorites. Okay. So probably one of the greatest of all times, it was Shaft. The movie Shaft. Me and my buddies used to go see these movies at the drive-in all the time because they were just so cool. And now some people, they call them black exploitation films because some people looked at it like, okay, they're just exploiting black people on these movies, these cheap B movies, kind of like the biker films that we were looking at a couple weeks ago. But in a way, I don't think it was because the guy was still a hero. He was usually badass, right? He was usually like the baddest pimp on the turf and everything. And he would always have, but if you pull up the Shaft trailer, because Shaft was one of the first ones, and that's you remember Isaac Hayes had all the songs in there. Right. That cat Shaft is a bad mother. Hush your mouth. Hey, but I'm talking about you. What kind of voice is that? Now it's got to be like
the new one or the older one?
Oh, the old one.
Old one.
Yeah, there it is. Shaft, 1971. What great music was in this too.
Talk about it. Get out of the way.
Cat say he's gonna be here, he should be here.
Open it up. Shaft's his name. Shaft's his game.
Cat say he's gonna be here, and he ain't.
These guys were always getting the bitches too.
It ain't right. Oh. Wait. That's some cold shit. Throwing my man Leroy out the window. Just picked my man up and threw him out the goddamn window. Listen, Snow White. Me and you gonna tangle sooner or later.
Why don't you stop playing with yourself, Willie? You ain't gonna do shit.
Shaft's his name. Shaft's his game.
Hey, man, I don't know no Ben Buford.
20.
Oh, that Ben Buford.
We're gonna take it out of your ass, pimp.
Just breaking heads.
I'm looking for a nigga named John Shaft. Just found him. Wow.
The mob wanted Harlem back. They got Shaft up to here.
All I'm asking you is to let me know what's going on. No names, no places, just what?
Okay, Tom, used up your minute. Get out.
Don't tell me, man. Where the gun?
None here. I'll be goddamn. Yeah. Come on, in front of me.
I'll shoot him up.
You want to play your super heavy black number? I'm going to play mine. We can nail your tail for manslaughter on what we got on you right now.
A lot of fighting. Oh, Shaft just threw that guy out the window.
Right on.
Right on, Shaft.
What is it? When you lead that revolution, why they better be standing still? But you don't run with a down no more.
We're done running, man.
Better shoot him up with a Tommy gun, huh? Talking about Shaft. John Shaft. And we have that out of the
Shaft. Hotter than Bond, cooler than Bullet. Rated R. If you want to see Shaft.
The hot buttered soul man, Isaac Hayes. Oh, don't you love Isaac Hayes?
Yeah.
When he was chef on South Park. How he went from chef to South Park, I'm not really sure. But yeah, Shaft, that was a good one. What was you got to do the Superfly. Superfly was another one, man. Superfly, that one, let's see, Superfly. Gordon Parks was the director, and the soundtrack by Curtis Mayfield. This is probably the classic. This is probably like the one of this whole genre. Is that the new one or the old one?
That's the old one.
Okay, 1972. Shaft. Look at him. Here he is, man. All pimped out.
This dude is bad. And he ain't just fly. He's super fly. Yeah. Super fly. When it comes to women, they come to him. But it's still not enough. He wants a big score. $1 million in cash. Yeah. The big one.
This is a chance, and I want to take it now. Before I have to kill somebody. Before somebody ices me.
What kind of money are we talking about?
Not much.
I want his ass out working.
Running through the tenements in New York City.
I quit now, then I took all this chance for nothing. Then I go back to being nothing. Working some jive job for chump change day after day. Look, if that's all I'm supposed to do, then they're gonna have to kill me, because that ain't enough.
Ain't I clean, bad machine,
Curtis
super cool, super mean, feeling good for the man, super fly. Here I stand, secret stash, heavy bread, baddest bitches in the bed. I'm your pusher man.
Can a super fly Harlem dude beat the system? He's got a plan to stick it to the man. He's super hood, super high, super dude, super fly.
Oh, I love those movies, man. What's another good one? I got to look down some of this list here. This is a good one here. Black Mama, White Mama. That's a women's prison film. And now, see, I've always been disillusioned by women's prison films because I feel, I know women that have been in jail, and women's prisons are more like Orange is the New Black than Charlie's Angels having cat fights in prison. You know, it's not Farrah Fawcett and Charlie's Angels facing off against another group of inmates that are just as attractive as they are.
They're not.
It's nothing like that. And for many years, I was so misled. I thought it was like just these hot bikini clad. Here comes Farrah Fawcett. Here comes all these beautiful women, and they're all wearing bikinis in prison, and they're all wearing panties and bras, and they're just going to fight. It's not like that.
Freddie
at all.
was pursuing a correction officer's job
for a while there.
Yeah, and then when it opened up, you know, at the women's prison.
Orange is the New Black finally come around later in my life, and then it was like, oh, that's what prison is all about. Oh, you mean it smells like ass and dirty feet? Oh,
yeah, that's not gonna put me in the mood.
In there. This is Black Mama, White Mama from 1973. This is a prison film, women's prison film.
Well, back it out! You think it's any cooler on mine? I'm looking for a way out of
There are none more dangerous than those who have nothing left to lose. Women in chains.
Look, they're all hot.
1,000 nights without a man. 1,000 reasons to kill. Women in chains. From a hellhole of twisted passions to an inferno of flaming death. Chains of hate kept them bound together.
Hot black woman and a hot
hounded
white woman,
by every love-hungry brood
together,
on the island,
slapping each other around.
See, I don't like cops, and cops don't like me, so why should I help you?
10,000 reward. Women in chains.
We're going the wrong way. We gotta get off. It's the right way for me, baby. If you screw up this deal for me, I'll kill you.
Desperate and dangerous.
Oh, they're dressed as nuns. Black Mama, White Mama. Another great flick from the 70s, 1973. What's another one? Black Caesar was a good one. Oh, Cleopatra Jones. That was a good one. Cleopatra Jones. That was one of those that that was like Foxy Brown. That was another one that they had back in the day. Yeah, Cleopatra Jones. Classic trailer, 1973. To watch all these movies, sneak into the drive-in.
Now guess who jumped out of the wood pile?
If I ever hear of you selling so much as a cough drop, I'm coming down on you so hard.
She's holding a knife to some dude's throat.
Tamara Dobson, the Soul Sisters' answer to James Bond, and the most exciting new star in years. 6'2" of dynamite, and it's all stacked.
I told you where, and I told you when, and I told you how to get that. Cleopatra Jones. She is sticking her nose in my business, Zach!
And up against her is the arch-enemy, the female successor to Goldfinger, two-time Academy Award winner Shelley Winters as Mommy.
Cleopatra Jones. Now, Pam Grier was in a lot of those movies, too. Her dad was Rosie Grier, the football player. And, you know, she's another one of them women. She had the great big afro, and she always played like some kind of a badass. Oh, here's a good one. This has to be one of the best. This is one of my all-time favorite black exploitation films, Willie Dynamite. Look up Willie Dynamite. Willie Dynamite is definitely one of my favorites. Willie Dynamite. Willie Dynamite trailer. Come on. Yeah, Willie Dynamite. You know who stars in this movie? Roscoe Allman. And he's the guy that played Gordon on Sesame Street. Before he was on Sesame Street, he played Willie Dynamite. The lead character drives a customized Cadillac Eldorado coupe. This was the same car used in Magnum Force. But these movies were, there it is. Here comes Willie Dynamite. Look at him pimped out, huh?
They call him Willie D. D for dude. He's got to be #1. D for devil. No one crosses Willie D. D for dynamite. Willie Dynamite.
7 women in the palm of his hand. Willie D. Willie D. Got a woman for every man. Willie D. Willie D. It's magic the way he runs his game. Ooh, Willie. Never treating 2 girls the same. Willie. Oh, Willie D.
Willie, please. Please don't make me go anymore.
Willie's got it all right in his hand. Except maybe he ain't.
Take a rest, Willie. Sure, Belle.
Up. Get him up. Hey, go easy on Willie. He's tender. You know, he works with women all day. You know how it is?
Why all the concern over a used-up junkie? She your sister?
Yeah, Willie. It's your sister, too.
Willie shooting another pimp in a pink suit, getting in his car. Look at Willie Dynamite's Cadillac. You gotta look up Willie Dynamite just to see the car that he's driving. I'm a little...
He's tight, together, and mean. He's got to be #1.
I'm a little disappointed in that trailer. Probably one of the best parts in that movie with Willie Dynamite is when all the pimps are getting together and they're trying to divvy up their turf. And Willie Dynamite decides that he wants to go out on his own. He's talking about his stable and I got these wild animals. That whole thing is a jungle. And you got to look that one up. Not you, but if you're listening and you get a chance, I mean, you look up Willie Dynamite and the meeting with the pimps and they have this big summit. And that's when Willie says he's going out on his own and he's going to take over everybody's turf. And that was a really good scene. I think that was, I can't believe they don't have that scene in the trailer. That's what I was hoping for, but that's another good one. Dolomite. Look up Dolomite. Dolomite is another crazy black exploitation film.
How do you spell that? D-O-L-E?
D-O-L.
Dolomite.
Dolomite. Yeah, there we go. Dolomite trailer. Here it is.
Look at you with this encyclopedia.
I love these movies.
Damn, look like my women is on time. Baby, I could sure warm you up.
No shit, baby.
I can dig it.
Dolomite's getting out of jail. He's jumping into a Cadillac with all these hot women.
Dolomite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. Breathing down your neck. Damn! Damn! Girl, this motherfucker's got rhythm, haven't he? I've got an all-girl army that knows what to do. They'll box as hell and practice kung fu. I put my finger in the ground and turn the whole world around.
You know, you're still the best man that I know in bed.
I'm waiting for Dolomite.
For who? Dolomite, motherfucker.
Okay.
And tell him I want him.
But anyways, that's
here
Dolomite, man. You got to look up some of these movies. They were a trip back in the day. These used to be really big at the drive-in. You know, these But I thought they were always cool, and the ones that had Curtis Mayfield and Isaac Hayes with the music, and Superfly and Freddie's Dead, and just such great music. But those are a whole genre of movies out there that are pretty wild. And when you look back on them, I like them personally. I don't know. Now, in the politically correct world, though, I don't know where any of this stuff fits in. I'm not really sure.
No way. There's no way today that you can make.
They also had another movie out there. It was called Trick Baby, and Trick Baby was written by Iceberg Slim. And Iceberg Slim was a hardcore pimp back in the day. I mean, he was the old school, and it was about Trick Baby was about this black guy, but he was really white. This is a true story. Because his mom was a black hooker and she got knocked up by some white dude. And so he's growing up in the hood, and the white people used to call him White Boy. That was his street name. But then the black people called him Trick Baby because Trick Baby. And he was like one of the biggest con men of all times. And he was a true story. And Iceberg Slim had a movie out about him. And that's a good one if you want to watch. And I even brought one of his books, Iceberg Slim, and his book is called Pimp. And this goes back a ways. And this is one of the first books that really has like street language and stuff. This guy was like one of the most notorious pimps in Chicago. And they even mentioned Youngstown. He had a couple little run-ins in Youngstown in this book.
Not surprised.
But this guy, he was really something, Iceberg Slim, as far as the pimp world goes. And I guess at like one point he had like 400 women or something through his career. And he talks about, having a strong pimp hand and beating these women with hangers if they didn't make enough money, and how many of them they got hooked on dope and all these scams they would run, setting people up and robbing them or whatever. If you're looking for a book to read, man, Iceberg Slim Pimp Daddy is probably one, or just Pimp. It's just called Pimp, and it goes back into the it's just really a crazy book. It's really a crazy book. I guess he was originally he spent a lot of time in Chicago, and when he was growing up, he was really smart. He was really smart, and his mom wanted him to be an attorney. But he saw like these other pimps driving these like Duesenbergs and stuff back in the day. And he's like, man, that's what I want to do. Yeah, he wanted to be in that. And then he just started running a game and, getting his bitches and, drugs and shootings and the language that they use in there too, because this was like one of the first books that really had like the African-American street language of the times, and he just captured it. A lot of people were surprised that this guy would come out with even one book, and he ended up, I think, writing 3 or 4 books. And for a while there, he was really big. I think he was born in 1918. And he lived a long time. He lived until 1982, and he finally gave up like the pimping stuff when he was in like solitary confinement for like 10 months, and he was getting old. He was like getting into his 40s, and he just thought, okay, I've had enough. But it talks about him escaping from jail, and it's really a good book. And I think they might even have a Pimp Daddy movie, or I keep wanting to say Pimp Daddy. I'm thinking of my nickname, is what everybody calls me. But Iceberg Slim, man, the guy was a character. And 1961 is when I think he finally went straight after 10 months in solitary confinement. But it's just really a great book. It says here, the ultimate anti-hero, Iceberg Slim takes you to the secret inner world of the pimp and the smells. I can imagine the smells. Yeah, when you read these books, the sounds, fears, the petty triumphs of his world, a legendary figure in the Chicago underworld. It's a riveting story from defending his mother against an evil man that she brought into his lives to becoming the kingpin of the streets. Slim belongs to the bare knuckle duster in the face school of storytelling. He really does. I mean, this is like, you couldn't be a writer to come up with this book. I don't think you could just be a novelist and start using this, because, you know, when he uses the terms that he uses and everything are just really, as a matter of fact, if you buy the book, Slim even had a glossary in the back of the book to
tell you what
some of these words mean. And I'm going to give you a little quiz here.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. What does it mean to bang?
To bang.
To bang.
Have sex.
No, in this one, inject narcotics. Shoot up narcotics. Okay. What's a booster?
Someone who steals cars.
Shoplifter.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. What's a bottom woman?
Bottom woman.
Yeah.
Menage a trois.
No, that's the pimp's main woman, his foundation of his stable.
The bottom bitch. Okay, I get it.
Okay. What do you call breaking luck?
Breaking luck.
Yeah.
Don't know.
A whore's first trick of the working day.
All right. Breaking luck. Get an education here on the Fast Freddie show.
I know. What's a cannon?
A cannon. A gun.
Nope. A pickpocket.
All right.
What's a chili pimp?
Chili pimp. I don't know.
Small time one whore pimp.
Okay.
Let's see. What's circus love?
That would be a gangbang.
Yeah, kind of. To run the gamut of sexual perversions. Let's see. Oh, okay. What do you call? Okay, what do you call cocktailed?
Cocktail, drugging somebody.
Putting a marijuana butt into the end of a conventional cigarette so you could smoke it in public.
Ah.
So that stuff's been going. See, the blunt whole thing that's been going around. This goes back to the 40s and 50s. You know. Let's see here. There's got to be a good one. Let's see here. A dog, older, hardened whore. Let's see. What's a double saw?
Have no idea.
$20.
Double saw is a $20 bill?
$20 bill.
All right.
Start using some of these in your
all right, yeah.
In your thing. What's girl?
A girl?
What's girl?
I don't know.
Cocaine. What's boy? Heroin.
Heroin.
What's a hard leg?
Don't know.
An older hardened, an older street hardened used up whore.
All right. It's a whole world that I've never been a part of.
What's a jasper?
Don't know.
A lesbian.
Huh.
Let's see. What's a jib? That's an easy one there. This goes. No, this goes back to some of these old movies, 50s. A jib, your mouth.
Okay. I don't know.
Shut your jib. Mackin', that's pimping. Everybody knows that.
Why'd you give me that one? I could have got that one.
Yeah, right. Let's see. What's a mitt man?
Mitt man, a lookout.
A hustler who uses religion and prophecy to con his victims. Usually the victims are women.
Huh.
What's the okie dokie?
I don't know.
That's a con game. You're going to run the old okie dokie. Let's see.
You know what I noticed about those movies that if you think today's movies are like over sexualized, I mean, those were over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why some people just thought that they were ridiculous.
Right.
Okay. A sawbuck is a $10 bill.
Okay.
What's a roller?
Car.
No. Policeman in plain clothes.
All right.
Scratch, money. Okay.
All right. I didn't know that one.
Let's see. What's a sizzle? Way before Snoop Dogg. What was a sizzle before Snoop Dogg?
Don't know.
Narcotics carried on one's person. Just a little snizzle that you had.
Snizzle.
Little
sizzle or snizzle?
Sizzle.
All right, sizzle. Little sizzle. Give me a little sizzle.
Yeah, a little sizzle. Stable. Group of whores belonging to one pimp. What's a stall?
Bed.
Now, a stall is somebody that helps a cannon in a pickpocket game.
All right. Oh, like okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what else we got going on here. That's about it.
That was neat, though. I mean, I'm surprised that some of those didn't make it in their way to the lexicon of today. You know, those are kind of cool.
Yeah, you start using them. Buy the book.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really want to read a cool book that's just like action packed and really down and dirty, nitty gritty, and just the language that he uses, and I mean, it's just like, here it is again, man. The king of the pimps back in the late 40s, 50s. When he was at his peak and all the stuff that he was pulling off and everything. Big criminal, man. I mean, he was really a big criminal. I mean,
that's what made mob movies so fun, because you got to see behind the scenes of what it's like in organized crime. Same thing there.
Oh, but yeah, this is 100% true. And Youngstown is mentioned in it. And I think this was written in like 1961, 1962, something like that. 1967.
Nice.
Came out in 1967. 1961 is when he decided to go straight. But boy, I'll tell you what, this guy was a son of a bitch, man. I mean, when you hear these people talking about the strong pimp hand and all that, beating women with the coat hangers and getting them hooked on heroin, and they didn't go out and make enough money. You beat the daylights out of them and stuff. And I mean, this guy, he was ruthless, man. And then when you see some of the stuff that they did to other pimps, and when there's people ripping you off, and he started out doing these like little flim flams where they would have somebody dressed up like a woman, and they'd get a guy to come back in an alley, and somebody be waiting in there and knocking the guy out and stealing his wallet and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I mean, the true life of that is brutal and nasty, and he pretty much hits it in this book right here. So yeah, I think today we took a little look at the black exploitation films, and I never knew they were a thing. I really didn't. No, it's just like all those biker films we were looking at a couple of weeks ago. There's just those whole genres of these cheap B movies out there. I don't know if any of these movies you would be able to make today.
No, not a chance.
I don't know.
Nope.
But they all starred all black actors and everything too, so I don't know. But that was, those were some good movies. If you're looking for something to do and you want to get into a YouTube rabbit hole, and a lot of these movies, since they've been around so much, some of them, they have the whole movie on YouTube for free that you could watch, but even just the highlights. Willie Brown, though, Dolomite, those are two of my favorites. Willie Brown, especially, like I say, the meeting with those pimps is like a classic movie scene when they're all in there and the way they talk and how they want to divide. And we got to unite. No, just the way they talk is just, it's really crazy. So if you're looking for something to do, that could be your homework assignment after this week's show, is to check out some of these, like Dolomite, Pam Grier, all of those, Shaft. I think everybody, if you're from that era, Shaft, Superfly. Those are some of the more popular ones. Cleopatra Jones. Those were all.
In that first one, I heard a Wilhelm scream. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So basically, there's a guy, and this was like recorded a ton of years ago. And whenever you have someone falling off of something, they put the soundtrack of Wilhelm scream of them falling off of there, and you'll see it appear in like Disney movies and Warner Brother movies and whatever. So you want to hear it? I'll cue this up.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. What was the first one we watched?
Oh, I can't even remember now. Was it Superfly?
No, it was right before Superfly.
Shaft. That cat Shaft is a bad mother. Now I'm sounding more like Isaac Hayes. If I just talk in my regular voice, it's not there. But when that cat Shaft,
when he was on the second floor of that apartment. That's the Wilhelm scream. So let me play a couple more of them for you so you understand.
So it's just one sound effect that the standard Hollywood.
Yep.
That cat Shaft is a bad mother.
So here's one from Toy Story.
Okay.
Well, no, that's too long. Let me get one that's
like right there.
All right. So these are a bunch of them.
Wilhelm!
Yeah, I'll just fill my pipe.
So this goes all the way back to 1953, and they still use the same sound.
That's the guy right there. That's the original one.
So it's the same one that they've been using since 1954, the same sound effect. And what, he was a stuntman or an actor?
Yeah, stuntman in a Western, yeah.
And so whenever somebody's falling, they call that the wheel. Even in Indiana Jones?
Yeah. Howard the Duck. Never knew this, did you?
No. Oh, is that crazy? All these movies since the 50s. It's called the Wilhelm Scream.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before. I see they love it in Indiana Jones.
Heck yeah, they used it in every freaking
Batman
revision.
Returns. We're going to 92 and it started in 54.
Yep. Reservoir Dogs? Aladdin?
Never knew. Never knew, never heard of it. There it is again. All these movies, it's the same screen. Oh, is that crazy? Is that freaking crazy? I never knew that. I never paid attention to that. Even like Disney movies, Indiana Jones, all these movies, Batman, Toy Story. Buzz does the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Return of the Jedis. Hercules. Small Soldiers. Oh, is that crazy? I never knew such a thing even existed.
Yep. I caught it. Like it out of my peripheral, I heard it.
And this is the thing. Everybody knows about it. Obviously, they know about it. Yeah. They put compilations together of every movie it was used in.
Yeah.
So does this guy get a royalty for this, or is...
Probably not. But it's mostly in like Disney and Warner Brothers. So it seems like that studio like builds that in.
Wow.
Yep.
Boy, if that guy could get some royalties off of that, huh? Some stuntman in some Western B movie.
And then sometimes like the voice doesn't even match the scene. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're falling off of something, who knows what you're really going to make. Yeah. Right. We get the point. Okay. Where he's falling off of something.
Yep.
What's his first name?
Wilhelm. Or no, something Wilhelm. Just the Wilhelm.
How do you spell Wilhelm?
W-I-L-H-E-L-M.
W-I-L-H-E-L-M.
H-E-L-M. Wilhelm.
Okay. It has its own thing right here. Or the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
You Google it and it's right there. Okay. The Wilhelm scream is a stock sound effect that has been used at least 400 times in movies and TV series, beginning in 1951 with the film Distant Drums. The scream is often used when associated with somebody falls from a great height or a stone from an explosion. All right, let's see if we can find out more about him. Let's see. Okay, it started in that movie. Okay. It's named after Private Wilhelm, a character in the movie The Charge of Feather River. It's a 1953 movie in which a character gets shot in the thigh with an arrow and is believed to be voiced by actor and singer Sheb Wooley. You know who Sheb Wooley is? Didn't he do the long-haired Purple People Eater song?
Oh, did he?
Sheb Wooley was the guy that did that.
Nice.
And they call it the Wilhelm Scream because that was the name of the character in that movie. Yeah, Sheb Wooley, he was a country guy, I thought. Kind of country. Let's see. He was in a few movies. He was in some... Sheb Wooley is credited as the voice actor for the Wilhelm Scream, having appeared on a memo as a voice extra in Distant Drums, in which he had an acting role.
400 movies.
Yeah. Okay, his singing career. Let's see. Sheb Wooley, he had a lot of albums out. Okay, yeah, he did the Purple People Eater. He did a song called That's My Paw. He did a song called Don't Go Near the Eskimos. Hello Walls Number 2. Tonight's Night My Angel's Halo Fell. Tie a Tiger Down. Harper Valley PTA later that same day. So he did a follow-up to Harper Valley. It seems like he did answers to a lot of songs. Maybe these were parody songs because he did he had this character called Ben Calder. and I guess like the song like Little Green Apples, Harper Valley PTA, Big Bad John, he would do parody songs to those.
So he was the Monkees of that generation.
Well, not really. He was just a parody guy. He was like a Weird Al Yankovic of that time.
Well done.
But anyway, so there we have it. Sheb Wooley, the Wilhelm Scream. And now you know when you hear that in a movie, over 400 movies, if you fall off of something, you're going to be doing the Wilhelm Scream that was invented back in, what, 1951.
Yep.
All right. Well, there we go, man. Another one in the book. Hopefully Tuesday we will be on the road and we will have our open mic and we will be out there asking the folks in downtown Youngstown what they thought of the election and where we're headed.
All right.
And we'll be drinking.
All right.
All right, Joe, another good one. Thank you, everybody. Hey, don't forget, you can find us all over the place. We are on every platform. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our page, Youngstown Studio. If you search us on any YouTube, podcast, YouTube, Facebook, like us on there. I'm trying to build up a Facebook page on the on that as well. The Fast Freddie Youngstown Studio page, like that. You'll find us all over the place. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good weekend. At least the Browns aren't going to lose this week. Right. So we'll talk to you on Tuesday from somewhere in downtown Youngstown. Nice day. Hopefully we'll be doing the man on the street and having a good time. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Joe. We'll see you Tuesday. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us.